everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel for Nurses Preparation. I am Neeraj Kumar Kaithal. Today we are presenting few important points for upcoming norcet exam, AIIMS norcet exam 2021. So let's begin our today's video. First point, cytology word means study of cell and cell's functions. Cytology means study of cell and its functions. Histology. Histology means study of tissue. Cell plus cell forms the tissue. Tissue plus tissue forms organ. Organ plus organ forms system. System plus system form body. Human normal cell size ranges between 7.5 μ to 300 μ. Plasma membrane is made up of protein and lipid. To understand this plasma membrane structure, fluid mosaic model was given. Physical basis of life, protoplasm. Protoplasm is also known as physical basic of life. It is important for AIIMS. Protein synthesis is done by rough endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is responsible for the synthesis of protein. Powerhouse of the cell, mitochondria. Suicidal bag of the cell, lysosomes. Largest organ of the cell, nucleus. It is situated in the center of the cell and also known as the brain of the cell. Important functions of plasma membrane are absorption, protection, and it provides specific structure or shape to the cell. Mitosis, cell division, causes formation of two daughter cells. All the daughter cells have equal amount of chromosomes as the parent cell is having. In meiosis type of cell division, total 4 daughter cells are formed. Each daughter cell is having just half number of chromosomes to the parent cell. mRNA formed in nucleus. Next point is flow of genetic information is from DNA to mRNA and from mRNA to protein. Next point, mitochondria produces ATP. ATP is made up by mitochondria. ATP are the energy currency for cell. So the mitochondria, also known as powerhouse of the cell. Full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate. If the cell engulfs solid substance, this process is known as phagocytosis. If the cell engulfs liquid substance, this process is called pinocytosis. Lysosomes contain hydrolytic enzyme. Lysosomes contain hydrolytic enzyme, so they known as suicidal bag of the cell. Inner lining of the body cavity is made up of epithelial tissue. Inner lining of the body cavity is made up of epithelial tissue. Next is inner lining of the blood vessels and lymph vessels made by simple squamous epithelium. Inner lining of blood vessels and lymph vessels made up of simple squamous epithelium. Goblet cells secrete mucus. Mucus is secreted by goblet cells. Goblet cells, also known as unicellular gland. Goblet cells are unicellular gland or single cell gland. Convoluted tubules of kidney is made up of simple columnar epithelium. Convoluted tubules of kidney is made up of simple columnar epithelium. Friends, all the important points from the anatomy subject. This can be asked from AIIMS norcet exam. Inner membrane of trachea made by pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium. Inner membrane of the trachea is made by the pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium. Pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium. Important. Functions of epithelial tissue. Functions of epithelial tissues include protection, absorption and secretion. Protection, absorption and secretion. Next is basement membrane presence is important characteristic of epithelium tissue. Basement membranes present is the important characteristic of epithelium tissue. Next, alveoli of the lungs made up of simple squamous epithelium. Alveoli of the lungs made up of simple squamous epithelium. You can take a screenshot. Next, conjunctiva of eye contains stratified columnar epithelium. Our eye's conjunctiva part contains stratified columnar epithelium. Next, sebaceous gland is the example of holocrine gland. Sebaceous glands are the example of holocrine gland. Holocrine gland is a type of exocrine gland. Holocrine gland's secretory cells get destroyed by its own secretion. Holocrine gland's secretory cells get destroyed by its own secretion. Next, sweat gland is a simple coiled tubular gland. Sweat gland is a simple coiled tubular gland. Next, salivary gland is an example of merocrine gland. Salivary gland is the example of merocrine gland. Next, sebaceous gland is an example of simple alveolar gland. Sebaceous gland is a simple alveolar gland. Mammary gland is the example of compound alveolar gland. Next, skin, hair and nails. Skin, hair and nails have keratinized stratified epithelium. Skin, hairs and nails all are having keratinized stratified epithelium. Next, connective tissue formed by mesoderm. Connective tissue is formed by mesoderm. Bone and blood are the example of connective tissue. It is the most abundant type of tissue found in our body. Reticular tissue activity increased in infection. If a person is suffering with some kind of infection, this time reticular tissue's activity is increased. Wound healing is slow in cartilages because they are avascular. Wound healing is slow in cartilages because they are avascular, or simply we can say they don't have vessels. Next, collagen and elastic fibers are formed by fibroblast. Collagen and elastic fibers are formed by fibroblast. Next, trachea's C-shaped rings are made by hyaline cartilage. Trachea's C-shaped rings are made up of hyaline cartilage. Hyaline cartilage. You can take a screenshot. Next, cardiac muscles are striated involuntary muscles. Striated involuntary muscles. Next, brown adipose tissue mainly found in newborn. Brown adipose tissue mainly found in newborn babies. Elastic connective tissue found in epiglottis, ear pinna and large blood vessels. Elastic connective tissue, the type of connective tissue which have the property of elasticity, are found in epiglottis, ear pinna and large blood vessels. Next, intervertebral discs are made up of fibrocartilage. Intervertebral discs are made up of fibrocartilage. Skin tissue originate from ectoderm and endoderm. Our skin tissue is originated from ectoderm and endoderm. Next, skin forms 7% of our total body weight. Next, largest organ of the body is skin. Largest gland of the body is liver. Next, hyaline cartilage found in costal cartilage, some part of pharynx, some part of trachea. Hyaline cartilage is found in costal cartilages and some part of pharynx and some part of trachea. Next, keratin stops fluid loss from skin. Keratin stops fluid loss from skin. Next, important, dermal papillary layer. Dermal papillary layer is responsible for fingerprints. Dermal papillary layer forms fingerprints. Dermal papillary layers form fingerprints. Next, melanin found in epidermis that protect skin from ultraviolet light. Melanin found in epidermis that protect skin from ultraviolet light. Alopecia. Alopecia means hair loss. It may be genetic. Next, node of Ranvier found on nerve cell. Node of Ranvier found on nerve cell. You can take screenshot. Next point, lambdoidal suture found between parietal and occipital bone. In our skull, parietal bones are situated in the lateral side of the skull and the occipital bone situated in the back of the skull. A lambda shaped suture, lambda shaped suture connects the parietal bones from occipital bone. This is known as lambdoid suture. A lambda shaped structure or suture connects the parietal bones to the occipital bone, known as lambdoid suture. Next, anterior fontanelle closes 18 months of age. Anterior fontanelle closes 18th month of age, where posterior fontanelle closes 2 months of age. Next, coronal suture found between frontal and parietal bones. This is the frontal bone and this is the parietal bone. A suture that connects the frontal and parietal bones known as coronal suture. Next, foramen of Magnum is the opening in the occipital bone from which spinal cord passes. In our occipital bone, this is our occipital area, occipital bone. Here's the opening is present. From this opening, our spinal cord runs towards downside. This opening is known as foramen magnum. Foramen of Magnum. Next, sphenoid bone. Sphenoid bone is a bat-shaped bone. Sphenoid bone is a bat-shaped bone and it is found in the skull. Sphenoid bone is a bat-shaped bone. Bat-shaped bone found in the skull. Next, tuberosity is a part of bone where muscle connects. Tuberosity is a part where muscles get attached with the bone. Next, petrous part of the temporal bone related with the hearing and balance. Petrous part of the temporal bone. This is the temporal area and here's the temporal bone is situated. Petrous part of this temporal bone is related or responsible for the hearing and balancing of the body. Next, synovial membrane forms the synovial fluid of joint. In our joint or synovial joint, synovial membrane is found. Synovial membrane forms the synovial fluid. Next, temporomandibular joint is the only movable joint of our skull bone. Temporomandibular joint. Temporomandibular joint is the only movable joint of our body. Mandible is the only bone that is movable in our skull. Mandibular, also called lower jaw bone. You can take a screenshot. So everyone, these are the important points for AIIMS norcet 2021 exam. How was the video? We are waiting for your feedback. Please comment below in comment section. If you find this video is helpful, then please click upon the like button, share this video with your friends and subscribe our YouTube channel for nurses preparation for more such interesting videos. All the best.